I've settled on what I'm going to sew next. Vogue 1943. Vogue 1943 is a off-the-shoulder double-breasted jacket, or suit jacket. Um, I would like to use a blue velvet for the jacket. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to make the pants. So the pants will probably be a solid black, or I may just end up making a pencil skirt. I may have enough of the blue velvet to make the pencil skirt. However, I'm not certain that that fabric is the best thing to wear all over my body. I don't want to look like, a blueberry, like Violet from Willy Wonka. So I just need to think about it. I may still continue on with making the pencil skirt in the blue velvet, but may not wear it with the actual jacket. I think that a contrast black bottom, whether it's pants or skirt, may be a better look. So that's that. Anyway, one of the things that I thought was interesting about this this pattern is that it comes in different cup sizes. So you can see right here, it says Mrs. Jacket with A, B, C, D cup sizes and pants. So how do you decide on a cup size? Well, when I go to Victoria's Secret, I am a D cup, which I think is pretty average for a lot of women. But I also am about a size 12 or maybe a 10 in US sizes, and that does not equate when it comes to pattern sizes. So let's kind of just look at the different cup sizes here. Okay, so this is Vogue 1943 pattern piece number 1, and you see the A here, which means A cup. And then we have the same pattern piece in different cup sizes. Vogue 1943, pattern piece 1, B. This means B cup. And then we also have the C cup and the D cup. All right. It appears that there are only 2 patterns that actually have cup sizes associated with them. So that's pattern piece number 1 and then pattern piece number 7. So this is 7B, this is 7C, this is 7D. I like to keep my pattern pieces in numerical order. Somewhere in here there should be a 7A. Let's see if I can find that. No. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. 7A. Okay, so pattern piece number 7 does not have any sizes on it, but pattern piece number 1 does. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to focus on pattern piece number 1. We have not cut our fabric yet. Right now we're just trying to figure out what size are we. So like I said, in regular US merchant stores, I would be a D cup. My bust measures at 40 inches, and my waist measures at 35-ish. So I want to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, because when I sit down, my waist kind of expands a little bit. But remember that this is a off-the-shoulder jacket. So I'm really concerned about what's going to keep this jacket standing up. So even though I am a 40-inch bust, I kind of feel like maybe I need to go smaller so that I can assure myself that I won't be, you know, showing my business all over town, right? This is the smallest cup size that comes with this pattern, at least because I have sizes 18 through 26. And I purchased 18 through 26 because that is my regular pattern size range that I go by. And you can see more about the pattern sizes on the envelope. Now see, this is what prompted me to get this, and this is also another reason why a lot of people sometimes buy the same pattern but in different sizes. So this pattern ranges from size 18 through 26. And when you look at the size chart on the back, it kind of aligns with my measurements. You know, again, I'm a 40 in the bust. The waist, I am a 35. And the hips, I am about a 44. So somewhere between 18 and 20, size 18 and 20, that would be my size. And that's great, but unfortunately, these sizes don't always align with the sizes on the pattern piece. Okay, and honestly, you can use the sizes on the pattern envelope to kind of get an idea of what pattern you need to buy. If you are like right at the edge of these sizes, it might be a good idea to buy the other size as well. So a lot of times, and I do this too, I have the same pattern in different sizes, and that's something that you may encounter as you start to sew more. Unfortunately, I do not have this particular pattern in different sizes, so we're going to have to do some alterations, okay? When I look at pattern piece 1 for a cup, the smallest size here, size 18, the bust is going to be a 42, okay? And you know that this size chart is for the bust area because, you know, like it's just right at the bust. Now, if you look further down on this pattern piece, you'll see this here, waistline, and then more sizes. So this lets you know that these sizes correspond with the waistline. And like I said before, I am a 35 in the waist, but I'm a 40 in the bust. So even though this says a cup, this very well may be the better choice for me, even though in regular U.S. commercial merchandise sizes, I would be a cup size D. This is probably the better pattern piece that I should use. So let me show you what pattern piece 1 in the D cup looks like. All right, this is pattern piece 1 D cup. Size 18 is a 45 inch in the bust. Size 18 in the waistline is 35. So it looks like the measurements for the waistline are all the same. 18 is a 35 inch, 20, 37 inch, 22. Size 22 is a 39 inch in the waist. It looks like it's the same. Yes, it is. It's the same from whether you're a cup size A, B, C, D, doesn't matter. The waistline is going to measure the same. The only thing that increases is the bust. So even though, like I said, I do wear a cup size D in bra, this cup size 45 will be way too loose for me. And I will not feel comfortable with that. So that's the D cup. So once I noticed that the D cup sizes were a little too big in the bust, I started to go down the list. I went to the pattern piece 1 for C cup, and I see a 44-inch here. Pattern piece 1 for B cup, I see that the 18, the smallest size is 18, and the bust line would be at a 43. And so I decided that the best thing for me to do is to go with the A cup, which again just seems really weird to me. But hey, I want to make sure that I am fully supported and that you know, that this thing will hold up. Now, let's see if it works out. So again, I am a size 40 in the bust. So one of the things that I'm going to do when it comes to cutting out this pattern piece, I am going to just ever so slightly cut a little bit inward. So this is the line for the 18. This is the cutting line for the size 18. Instead of cutting right at the line, I'm just going to cut slightly inside of the line, and hopefully that will, you know, shed off a couple of inches. I'm going to do the same thing with pattern piece number 7, which is also cup size specific. I'm just going to ever so slightly cut my fabric just a little bit inside the 18, the size 18 cutting line, just a little bit, okay? And by doing this, I am hopeful that the top will fit me a bit more snugger, because I don't want that extra 2 inches in my bust area. Another thing that I could do is I could just follow the cutting line exactly, and then, you know, while I'm trying it on, I can make adjustments at that point. That's another option. And I guess that would, honestly, I think that would be the better option, because once you cut inside the cutting line, once you cut, you know, you can't get that fabric back. It is much easier to just cut along the exact cutting line and then alter and take in your clothes as needed. So I'm going to go with option B, which is to just cut the pattern piece just as it is shown here, try it on, and then I'll be able to make adjustments. Okay, so the next step is to iron these pieces. That's what I do. I don't know what other people do, but I like to iron these pieces. So that's my dog. She kind of like just sits and goes to sleep while I'm sewing. But anyway, I'm gonna put my iron on a low setting. I use setting number 4, which for my iron is like the polyester setting. Here is my steam. I set the steam on the steam level on no 0, so no steam, because I do not want to get my pattern pieces wet. When the iron is hot enough, it will beep. And so, sorry, that noise that you hear is me rolling around in my chair. I think that most people who sew definitely should invest in a chair with wheels. especially if you're like me and have mobility problems. Okay, so that's a very low iron setting. Again, I set mine at 4, and this iron is a Butyral brand. Set it at a low setting of 4, no steam, and then that way I have a nice crisp pattern piece. I set this aside, and I'll do the same thing with the rest of my pattern pieces, and then I'll lay it out on my fabric, and we'll get to work cutting the fabric. So stay tuned for the next video.